Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. The United States has emerged as India's biggest trading partner in 2022-23 as bilateral ties between the two countries increased by 7.65% to $128.55 billion in 2022-23 as against $119.5 billion in 2021-22. On the other hand, during 22-23, India's two-way commerce with China declined about 1.5% to $113.83 billion as against $115.42 billion in 21-22. Researchers at Italian Institute of Technology have developed a fully edible rechargeable battery in what they claim to be world's first. The researchers used food ingredients such as almonds, capers, and nori seaweed to develop the battery. The battery cell operates at 0.65 volts and provides enough current to power small electronic devices like LEDs for a limited time. Deadly clashes have erupted in Sudan between the military, led by Lieutenant General Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, and the paramilitary Rapid Support Force, also called as RSF, led by Mohammed Hamdan Daglo Aka Hamidati. The two leaders disagree on the proposed transition to civilian rule in Sudan. The RSF was redeployed across Sudan, triggering the ongoing conflict, which claimed over 270 lives. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the outbreak of fighting in Sudan and called for an immediate ceasefire to restore calm and dialogue to resolve the crisis. Himachal Pradesh has become the first state to create a DNA database of unidentified bodies, an official said. Records of 150 DNA samples have been stored in the database so far, he added. Vivek Sehajpal, Assistant Director at Directorate of Forensic Services, Junga, said the database would help people in identifying their relatives' bodies and also help in criminal investigations. Ukraine has rejected Iraq's offer to mediate talks to end the former's war with Russia, which began in February last year. Ukraine Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said, "We need Russia to agree with a very simple fact that it has to stop the war and withdraw." He also stated that Iraq is a country that is capable of building bridges. Finland has begun the construction of 200-kilometer security fence along its border with Russia near the town of Imatra. The move, which comes less than 2 weeks after Nordic country joined NATO as the 31st member of the military alliance, is meant to curb illegal immigration from Russia into Finland. Russia shares 1,340 kilometers long border with Finland. Supreme Court on Tuesday said gender is far more complex than one's genitals. A constitution bench headed by CGI D.Y. Chandrachud was responding to Centre's argument that laws, including the Special Marriage Act, recognized only heterosexual marriages between a biological male and a biological woman. The court said there was no absolute concept of man or a woman, much to the debate of the public. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Denis Manoturov in New Delhi on Tuesday. During the meeting, the two leaders discussed strengthening economic and financial relations in order to promote bilateral investment and trade between the countries. Manoturov, who arrived in India on Monday for a 2-day visit, also met External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar. The National Mission for Clean Ganga (NMCG) has approved 8 projects worth about 638 crore rupees. One of the 4 projects were approved for pollution abatement in Shamli district with an aim to clean river Hindon, which is tributary of river Yamuna. As part of the preparations for the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh in 2025, one project for development of 7 ghats was approved. For Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, one sewage management project each was approved to prevent the flow of polluted water into river Kayul, which is a distributary of Ganga, and river Shripa, sub-tributary of Yamuna. Another project for ghat development was approved for Haridwar in Uttarakhand, where Akhand Param Dham Ghat will be constructed. Prime Minister Mitra Parks, an acronym for Mega Integrated Textile Regions and Apparel Parks, will be launched in Lucknow and Hardoi districts of Uttar Pradesh this week. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his best wishes to the people of Uttar Pradesh. He said, "These parks, spread over 1,000 acres, will give an impetus to the local economy as well as generate employment opportunities." He added that India's textile sector is also going to get a boost. Mr. Modi said Uttar Pradesh has a rich tradition of textiles, a big market, and a consumer base. The police in Pakistan have reportedly temporarily shut down some businesses run by Chinese nationals in Karachi over security threats to them. As per reports, the increasing anti-China sentiments among the Pakistani population are becoming difficult to control for the local government and security agencies. Last year, a suicide bombing killed 3 Chinese teachers and a Pakistani driver in Karachi. The United Nations said it's ready to take a heartbreaking decision to leave Afghanistan in May if it cannot persuade Taliban to allow women to work for the organization. If I were to imagine UN not being in Afghanistan today, I have before me images of millions of people who essentially will not have enough to eat. A United Nations Development Program head, Ashim Steiner, said. According to United Nations report titled 8 Billion Lives, Infinite Possibilities, the case for rights and choices, which was released on Wednesday, India is now the most populous country in the world. United Nations data shows that China is just behind India with 1,428.6 million people with a population of 1,425.7 million people. 68% of India's population comprises between age of 15 and 64. BrahMos Aerospace CEO Atul Rane said BrahMos missile developed jointly by India and Russia will be only sold to nations that are friendly to India and acceptable to Russian government. BrahMos has drawn interest of countries from Southeast Asia, Middle East, Latin America and Africa. Rane stated, "It is the only supersonic cruise missile system in the world as of today." Mizoram has been declared as India's happiest state according to a study conducted by Mr. Rajesh K., a professor at Management Development Institute in Gurugram. The index was calculated based on 6 parameters including family relationships, work-related issues, social issues, and philanthropy. Region, COVID-19's effect on happiness, and physical and mental health, as per the report. A hybrid solar eclipse was witnessed for the first time in a decade on 20th of April, with the rare event visible to sky watchers in Western Australia, parts of Indonesia, and East Timor. The eclipse, which is occurring between 7:04 am to 12:12 pm our Indian Standard Time, cannot be seen in India. Hybrid solar eclipses are eclipses that shift from annular eclipses to total eclipses due to the Earth's curve. A total eclipse is the one where the moon fully obscures the sun, whereas in an annular eclipse, the moon cannot cover the sun completely, leaving a ring of light. Assam and Arunachal Pradesh have signed a border agreement putting an end to a 51-year-old border dispute, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said on Thursday. The agreement states that of the 123 disputed villages, 1 will be included in Assam from Arunachal Pradesh and 10 villages will continue in Assam. Arunachal Pradesh will also get 60 villages from Assam. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of India, Armenia, and Iran held the first trilateral political consultations on Thursday in Armenian capital Yerevan. The three countries held a wide range of discussions, including on economic issues and regional communication, the Armenian Foreign Ministry said. The three sides also discussed trilateral cooperation in various fields, the ministry added. Russia has halted deliveries of weapons to India as the countries struggle to find a payment mechanism that doesn't violate United States sanctions. According to Bloomberg, Indian payment system for weapons worth over rupees $2 billion have been stuck for about a year, while Russia has stopped supplying credit, it said. Officials said Russia is unwilling to accept rupee due to exchange rate volatility. Google on Friday announced its AI chatbot Bard can now help developers write and debug code in more than 20 programming languages, including C++, Java, and Python. Bard can also explain a piece of code to developers, Google said. However, the company warned that Bard can sometimes give working codes that doesn't produce the expected output. NATO held the world's largest cyber defense exercise in Estonia's capital Tallinn. The 4-day event named Locked Shields, which saw more than 3,000 participants from 38 nations, aimed to boost the strategical and technical abilities of the participants in fighting cyber attacks. This past year has shown us how important strength in cyber defense is, Estonian Defense Minister said. At least 6 more Chinese police stations have been discovered in the United States after the FBI busted such a station in New York City. 2 New York residents were also arrested for allegedly operating the police stations. However, Beijing has denied running these police stations, characterizing them as service centers for overseas Chinese nationals. ISRO on Saturday successfully placed 2 satellites for Singapore, namely Telelos 2 and Lumilite 4, into their intended orbits on its PSLV C-55 rocket. The commercial mission took off from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota at 2:19 pm. It also carried 7 payloads from India to conduct scientific experiments in space using the spent PS-4 stage of the rocket as an orbital platform. After 5 soldiers lost lives in Punch terror attacks, the Indian Army said that the unidentified terrorists fired upon the truck, taking advantage of the heavy rains and low visibility in the area. The vehicle caught fire due to likely use of a grenade by the terrorists. The soldiers were from Rashtriya Rifles unit deployed for counter-terrorist operations and were on their way to village to distribute fruits for iftar function. The villagers decided not to celebrate Eid in the honor of the soldiers. Now, for the events that took place this week back in history. 16th April 1912, Harriet Quimby's flight across English Channel. On this day in 1912, American aviator Harriet Quimby became the first woman to fly across the English Channel, guiding her French Blériot monoplane through a heavy overcast from Dover, England to Herdeloit, France. 17th April 1982, Canada Act proclaimed. The Canada Act, also known as the Constitution Act, took effect on this day in 1982, establishing certain individual rights, preserving parliamentary supremacy, and making Canada a wholly independent, fully sovereign state. 18th April 1775, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Paul Revere, a renowned silversmith, is better remembered as a folk hero of the American Revolution, who this night in 1775 made a dramatic ride on a horseback to warn Boston area residents of an imminent attack by British troops. 19th April 1775, American Revolution begins. Launching this day in 1775 with Battle of Lexington and Concord, the American Revolution was an effort by 13 British colonies in North America with help from France, Spain and Netherlands to win their independence. 20th April 2010, explosion on the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. On this day in 2010, an explosion occurred on the Deepwater Horizon rig located in Gulf of Mexico, some 41 miles off the coast of Louisiana, leading to the world's largest oil spill in the history. 21st April 2002, French elections held. French President Jacques Chirac faced a re-election challenge on this day in 2002 from extremist Jean-Marie Le Pen in the first round of presidential voting, but 2 weeks later handily defeated him to win a second term. 22nd April 1970, First Earth Day. First celebrated on this day in 1970 in the United States, Earth Day, founded by American politician and conservationist Gaylord Anton Nelson, helped spark the environmental movement and quickly grew into an international event.
Well, that's all friends for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.